had two 5 o'clock and 5:30 kickoffs in the first two home games, but under lights, the fans are really getting into this one for the first time here at Dairy Farmers for an A-League contest.
The numbers aren't brilliant at North Queensland just yet, but it's only start up, and I think the more important indicator is of the people who are here, and you can see there in the F Troop, they're already investing in the club's colours. These people aren't coming as fly-by-nights to start with. They've come, they've invested, they've bought a part of the club. There's an emotional engagement already, and it's a good foundation.
Fowler and McBreen exchange passes. McBreen's first time delivery almost squeezed its way through to Robinson. Talley will pounce in midfield. Ball by Robinson. Middleby drives it deep to McBreen. Williams was there. De Vere cleared the danger.
Well, it was deep to the back post. Daniel McBreen did well to recover it and force some defensive pressure on Brisbane. They're getting the ball set up quite nicely, North Queensland. Delivery, apart from the goal from Robinson to Fowler, hasn't been fabulous, and they're not making the most of the good lead-up work.
Adros being closed down by Van Dyke, who slid in right under the assistant's nose. Surely the free kick will suffice, and a talking to.
Well, it just looked to me like the striker putting a defender under good pressure. Well, this will give us a better look. That's a fair free kick, nothing more. Well done, Matthew Breeze and his assistant. Christo Dross will be under no illusion next time he gets the ball, however. Good pressure from Serge Van Dyke.
Heard the cry from the bench, get up, dog, get up. Cleared the midfielder. Mundy can't wrap his left boot around it.
Another good example of a striker putting pressure on the defender, forcing the issue. And now North Queensland can launch another attack in a very advanced part of the field.
Worrying signs for Frank Farina with his team dropping deeper and deeper. Not even 20 minutes gone yet here. Fury winning the majority of second balls in midfield as well, which will encourage Ian Ferguson. We've worked it pretty well there as well. Talley calling the shots. It'll be just rolling it to McBreen, who might have let it run to Fowler. Talley, and there's payback from Charlie Miller. And he's the second man in the book. And that hurt Ufuk Talley.
And it was a bit of a get square, and it's a fair yellow card, but it's frustration from Charlie Miller because he reckons he's copped a couple too, and as we've said, it's a clear yellow card. David Williams didn't miss Charlie Miller on the touchline, and Matthew Breeze just needs to make sure he keeps a grip on this. Quite rightly receiving a yellow card, but does feel aggrieved that a couple of the other challenges on him have gone. 3, he's saying. I've been nobbled 3 times and you've done nothing, ref. We can see it, Charlie, but it's not for you to take the law into your own hands.
Kohler driving it towards McBreen, who's saying Moore didn't have eyes for the ball and only for the striker.
He's got a point too, Daniel McBreen. Experienced defending from Craig Moore. He's suggesting he was blinded by the floodlights. That was his explanation to Matthew Breeze, who did ask the question on the run. I'm going to say made a comment to Moore on the run.
De Vere slipped and let Fowler in. He's given it away though. Finally some controlled possession for the Roar, but Mundy's being worked over by Robinson. He wanted the throw-in, but goes the visitor's way. Cruz caught late by Middleby. Miller. This time Robinson doesn't challenge. An ambitious ball searching for Van Dijk. Sergio Van Dijk struggling to come to grips with a derby situation when the two teams are separated by over 1,000 kilometres.
Well, I'm with him. We understand the derby concept. It's certainly a huge interstate rivalry, and perhaps in time this will be built up to the Classico status, but you can hardly call it a local derby.
He was saying it was like a team from Amsterdam taking on someone from Switzerland. That's why he was struggling to get his head around it. Well played, McBreen. Williams kept it in. Got options in the middle. Fowler and Robinson at the back post, and tried to play the cute ball.
This role that Ufuk Talay plays, just at the base of the midfield. Roston Griffiths unable to push a little bit forward, but the back four always have an outlet in Ufuk Talay. He's able to turn away and change the point of attack and release the opposite side fullback, and North Queensland can get into a swing. They weren't able to do that the first couple of rounds. Talay wasn't available and the team was still finding its feet, but he's really showing his worth.
Dodd trying to flight one out to Teato, who can't track it down. But are Brisbane giving Talay too much space in that role tonight?
Well, you could say that, but if they push up en masse and they don't do it in an organised way, then Talay is clever enough to turn away and knock the long ball. We saw it last week, him release James Robinson with a beautiful pass. It was the first goal for Robbie Fowler. Another thing about the man on screen, Danny Teato, who is the Brisbane fulcrum, he's playing wounded. We know that about Danny. Brisbane are nursing him on a week-to-week basis. Sometimes they get 45 minutes. Last start they got 90 minutes out of him, but it doesn't seem as though we have any guarantees from week to week how long he's going to last. And on that basis then, if he's leading the charge in the centre of Brisbane's midfield, it's a big ask to be constantly putting the heat on Ufuk Talay. It does require a lot of energy over 90 minutes to be pressing high up the field. And without Madoka and Mackay, it makes it even harder.
Dodd winning the header, stepping in for Matty Mackay. Impressed after coming on after 25 minutes last week. Good news for Matty Mackay during the week that he didn't require surgery on his knee problem. Shame the same can't be said for Billy Selesky after his sickening fall on Thursday night. Melbourne Victory man out for a year, perhaps, after doing his ACL.
Frank Farina, speaking with him before the game, is in the market for an injury replacement for Matt Mackay. They'll also be losing players to young Socceroo duty. There's not a lot out there, according to Farina.
Robinson uses Tadros. Disappointing delivery. It's one for the kids to chase on the hill.
Very disappointing delivery. Good solid start from Tadros. Played left midfield last week, dropped back a line this week because Stefanuto is away and representing all of us in Korea. Australia v South Korea coming up right after this. The back four largely untested for North Queensland so far tonight, but they've looked more comfortable nevertheless.
Williams wasn't going to take on Miller. He's seen that he's fired up. Not a bad ball, searching for McBreen. Appreciated the intent. Van Dijk with Dodd at his back. Suspicion of handball against Enrique. Breeze happy to let it go on. And this time a block on McBreen has been spotted. Malcolm, the guilty party.
Well, Matthew Breeze had a word to Craig Moore, the last one we talked about. Didn't feel it was sufficient to blow a foul then, but the warning was issued of Malcolm, adjudged to have put a body check, obstruction on Daniel McBreen, and that's a battle that will rage, a friendly battle, but McBreen loves getting it right in the mix. He loves niggling defenders, shoulder charging defenders, getting in their face. He's got a nose for goal as well. It'll be an interesting clash, that one.
Liam Reddy's already been tested once by David Williams. The way he hit that shot before, you'd fancy he'd step up from the set-piece situation. Or will it be Talley? Williams leaves it. Fowler's arrived. Another one for Reddy to worry about. Talley leaves it for Fowler. Deflection off Miller. And out for a corner.
Well, they're the two men for North Queensland. Robbie Fowler, Ufuk Talley. They provide the leadership, the inspiration. There's the blocking of the run, which Matthew Breeze decided was obstruction. Free kick came to nothing. Perhaps the corner will present something for North Queensland.
Fowler enjoying the banter from the visiting fans in that corner of the pitch. And there's a bit of afters here. Carl Dodd, former Raw player, of course, in season 1. And there was a bit of push and shove after this corner was delivered.
There was a fair bit of befores too, Brent, and I had my eye on it. He was right in the personal space of Liam Reddy. There was a lot of niggle going on beforehand. Here it is. That was Dodd v Dodd. V Reddy. Free kick Brisbane.
Plenty of players would still be on the pitch after seeing an elbow arrive in the jaw region. Dodd did well to keep his feet. Sure they'll be having a look at the video. It didn't tickle Carl Dodd. Malcolm against Williams.
Head clash there.
Former Rangers hard man stays down as another one looks on.
Just checking that all his teeth are Davey Williams. It was McBreen v Tiardo, and that was the clash. Two players committed to the ball. Carl Dodd is racing around like a crazy man, according to Matthew Breeze.
We got a bit on the effects mics last week from Matthew Breeze. The old Melbourne thing was a talking point during the week on Fox FC. Breeze again caught by our effects microphones. Here's the man he told to calm down, Carl Dodd. Tadros lifting it towards Griffiths. Griffiths going to leave it for Tadros. He might be the target for a flick on from the throw. Instead, he uses Tadros and then delivers. Fortunately from Moore, it breaks for Enrique. A chance to run for the first time tonight. Collar across. And Miller again is saying surely that's a yellow card. And Breeze is going to call over the centre half and show him a ticket.
Well, the break was on. We've seen in the first game of the season here, or the first home game for North Queensland against Sydney FC. Round 1. Robbie Fowler free kick, saved by Clint Bolton. The breakaway, John Aloisi scored. There was another similar situation there. Paul Kohler, I'm sure the play stopped on halfway. He was committed to the ball but mistimed it.